So today is an Ask Me Anything Live, which means I'm going to answer the questions that you guys have submitted. You asked some great questions. And as I'm going along here, feel free to put a question in the comments. I'm going to try to get to as many as possible today. Hi, Cassie. Okay, great. You can see me, hear me. Perfect. We're good to go. So before I jump into the questions, I want to just go over a couple questions that I frequently get asked about my program. So the first question is, well, what is your program? So my program is a 12-week one-on-one transformational program. And if you can relate to some of these things that I'm going to share here, this program might be for you. Hi, Laurel. Okay, great. You guys are hearing me loud and clear. Whew. So let me know if this sounds like you, or you can relate to this. I keep meeting emotionally unavailable men, or I only seem to attract emotionally unavailable people. I never had a healthy relationship, so I don't know what one looks like. I don't trust myself when it comes to choosing the right partner because I've chosen partners who have been very hurtful in the past. As I'm going through here, you guys let me know if you can relate to this. I'm not attracted to people who would be right for me. I'm ready to give up on love because I've been let down so many times. I don't trust anyone anymore because I've been hurt in the past, and I push people away who could be good for me. So if you can relate to any of those statements, my program might be a good fit for you. So people often ask me, well, who is this program for? Who can it help? So my program is for anyone who is ready to break the cycle of bad relationships and find real love. Like, this can be generations long cycles of bad relationships. I know, in a lot of the women I work with, they're not the first ones to have bad relationships. A lot of their family members have had bad relationships. So they are basically breaking a generation long cycle of bad and toxic relationships. This program might be for you if you are ready to go on a healing and a transformational journey of loving yourself that then leads to finding a healthy relationship. This might be for you if you are needing support in finding the right person. Like if you're looking for help navigating the dating world, or if you're feeling really overwhelmed and scared to go online and date, or if you've never done it before and it just seems like, I don't know what I'm doing out there. It's too crazy. There's too many crazy people out there. This program might be for you. This might be for you if you are ready to heal from painful past relationships and transform your love life from the inside out. Self-love is what transforms your love life. It changes your whole entire life, especially your relationships. And if you feel like you might be hanging on to an ex, or you're stuck in a trauma bond from a previous relationship and you're having difficulty moving forward, this might be the program for you. So I see Cassie saying, I could relate to so many of those things before I started working with Lindsay. Oh, her program is amazing and it helped me immensely. Broke a trauma bond with her help and I'm now dating a secure guy. Truly a game changer. Oh, thank you, Cassie. Yeah, so you're a great example of someone who got in there, did the work, and now it's paying off and you're in a healthy relationship. So thanks for sharing that, Cassie. So the next question is, what areas are addressed in the program? Oh, and hi, Laura. Laura's working with me too. Laura has had some incredible results as well. So thank you guys for the support here. So what areas are addressed in the program is another question that I get. So the first area that we address is something that I call deprogramming. And this is where we deprogram, we unravel all of the stuff from the bad relationships that you might have picked up, like believing that you're not good enough. Maybe your ex even told you that, or maybe just because of the abuse that you experienced or the mistreatment, you came to believe that about yourself. So we unravel all of that stuff from the past relationships. I also teach you how high conflict personalities function and why they're so highly resistant to change, because this is something to be very, very aware of, because we can often get caught in the, well, maybe this person can change. Maybe there's hope. And I'm going to talk about that here later on because some of you guys asked some questions about that. But this is what I talk more about in depth in my program. And so part of this deprogramming is I also help you release the negative beliefs that you might have picked up on from your past relationships. Like I've talked about before, not feeling good enough, not feeling like there's any good people out there, not being able to trust. We go deep into all of this and rewire your subconscious. So the next area we address is emotional healing or subconscious work. So I use some really powerful healing modalities to get to the origin of any negative energies that are holding you back from moving forward in your healing process and in your relationships. Anything that is holding you back from finding an amazing partner. This is what we dive deep into, and I help you to release it. It's really powerful stuff. We also release any blocks that might be preventing you from being open to love. Like a lot of us have difficulty with receiving love because of the things we've been through in the past. So we work to open you up to receiving love, and that's part of what helps you be able to have that healthy relationship. So this subconscious work can also help you break free from a trauma bond. I've talked about this in previous videos, getting to the origin of the emotional glue and helping you release it is what makes you be able to move forward from a bad relationship. And Laurel's making me laugh. She's like, talk about the entities. So sometimes in the work that I do with people, sometimes things like entities come up. Basically, the work that I do covers many different types of energetic imbalances that could be going on that are holding you back from healing. So yeah, we get into sometimes some weird stuff, but it works. It helps you feel better and it helps you to heal and to be able to then get to the place where you can have a healthy relationship. So thanks for bringing that up, Laurel. So then the next and the last part here is I teach you how to date and how to create a healthy relationship. So I teach you all the ways to avoid bad relationships so you don't have to get into them in the future, and I help you learn what to look for instead. I also help you navigate dating so you are not out there on your own. If you are on the apps, I am there with you, I am supporting you, and if you have any questions as to whether this is the right person, what to say to them, how to respond to something, that's what I'm here for. And like Cassie brought up, I have had a few clients who have found healthy relationships this month, so it's super exciting. And if you guys are interested in learning more about it or chatting with me to see if this might be the right program for you, send me a message or you can comment Real Love and I'll reach out to you. Okay, let me just take a sip of water here and then we will get to the good questions. All right, you guys ready for the questions? Let me know, give me a heart, let me know you're ready in the comments, and I will get started here. Okay, so the first question that was submitted, I'm just going to read it through here, and then I'm going to give you my answer. So this person writes, I have a new love interest. It's been very slow moving, not like my previous attractions that had more desire and communication. You talk, meaning me, you talk about true love being less about the crazy whirlwind and more careful and considered, and I hope this is what's going on. But my worry is that he isn't that into me as I get nothing in terms of communication unless I initiate. He's told me he is really not good at texting and speaking on the phone. I feel deeply connected to him, and when we are together, it's warm and familiar. I feel like I'm obsessing about the communication thing. When we do talk, it's as if it hasn't bothered him or distanced him at all. So this person wants to know whether to pursue this or let it go. So as I'm going through these questions here, you guys let me know if you can relate to the question that this person is asking. Because I can definitely relate to this. I've had relationships like this in the past where the communication really wasn't there, and it made me wonder if this person actually really did like me. So the first thing I want to start with is to let you know that a relationship is not just how you feel when you're with someone. It's also how you feel when you guys aren't together. It's all of it. It's all of it. So, I would not feel great about this either, to the person asking this question. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to give up on the relationship right away. Not at all. This is something that you can address and see if this can be shifted. So you can start by communicating how you feel. And I don't know if you've done this already, but you can let this person know, hey, I really enjoy our time together. It's been great. At the same time, I've been having a hard time with not hearing from you when we're not together. And I don't feel very important to you because I have to do all the initiating. So how would you feel about texting or calling more often? You can start with that. And if you're not used to communicating your needs or sharing your feelings, this would be really, really great practice. So you can say that and see what happens. See what happens. If he says something like, well, that's just how I am, I don't do texts, I don't do calls, or I'm just not good at it, okay, I would say that you two are probably not compatible. Because if communication is something that's important to you and it's not that important for this guy, this relationship is not going to feel good. It's not going to feel like you can really settle into it or feel really, really secure with this person. Because you have to feel good about the level of communication that's going on. Of course, when you're with someone, there is going to be a little bit of compromising that you both have to do, but it shouldn't feel like you're second guessing whether this person really has feelings for you or really cares about you or not. So, it's, like I said, you have to feel good about the level of communication for it to be considered healthy. And if it's not what you need, then I would say definitely move on. If this person can't rise to the occasion, if it's, sometimes there are cases where someone really just doesn't like to communicate and it's just a basic incompatibility. So, some people, so really what I want to say here is if this communication is not what you need, it's okay to leave. I would probably do the same. If once you put your request out there and the person is not able to meet it, you are completely justified in leaving this relationship. And some people will question and say, well, but I don't know if I'm asking for too much. Maybe I'm asking for too much here. Maybe I'm just obsessing about this, like you said in your question. Too much would be wanting someone to call you like 3 times a day and maybe text you multiple times a day. That would be too much. I would say that would be too much. Wanting someone to initiate calls with you once in a while, that's not too much. That's not too much at all. So, all of that being said, this person may be emotionally unavailable, and that's why they're not initiating. This could be the case. Because even though it feels good when you're together, like I said before, if it's not feeling good when you're not together, if you're feeling really unsure about how this person feels about you, then that's not healthy. What a relationship is the full picture of how it is to be with this person when you're with them, but also when you're not with them, okay? It's just how you feel when you're not with them is just as important as how you feel when you're with them, okay? And just remember here, if someone is emotionally unavailable, there is nothing you can do to change that, okay? This is a journey that they have to go on themselves. I do not ever recommend waiting for someone. Maybe they're just coming out of a divorce, or maybe they've come out of a difficult relationship and they need time to heal. I do not recommend waiting for that. What you can do is go and do your own thing and date other people, and maybe you guys will get back together when this other person has gotten their stuff together. But it's not up to you to make this work if someone is emotionally unavailable. They have to be willing to do this work on their own with their own professional support. And also, please don't think that you have to be the one to help this person. unless you're a therapist or unless you're a coach or a counselor, which I don't recommend with working with someone who you're romantically interested in, but they need to be doing this with their own professional support. And, you know, to further clarify this question, it sounds like you don't quite know where you stand with this person. You're not sure how into you he is. You know, I want to make this clear here. In a healthy relationship, you do know where you stand with someone. You're not guessing, because they're making it very clear. They're either telling you, or they're initiating with you, they're communicating it to you. So this doesn't mean they're declaring their love on the first date. That's love bombing. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about dating, and slowly the relationship is escalating. They call you more, they ask you out on dates, they're then asking to be your girlfriend. Okay, so if this isn't really happening, then you are completely justified in having some concerns. Okay, so Laurel is saying, oh, can you address my question next? I have to get back to work. Okay, so Laurel, let me pull up your question here. So what you asked was, how do we handle going slowly when we meet a new man without him thinking that we are not interested? She's saying they're not as enlightened. I hear the term chemistry often. Yeah, this is a great question. So what I mean by slowly here is not hanging out with this person every single day, all day long, right after the first date, or moving in together after 2 months, or getting married after 6 months. All of that is very, very fast, and there's not enough time to truly get to know someone before you take the next steps of the relationship. So how do you slow this down? In the example of someone, maybe you are dating someone who wants to hang out all the time, like every single day. So what you do is you say no, not to hanging out all together, but to hanging out every day. You know, what you can say here is something like, hey, to this person, hey, I love hanging out with you. This has been great, but I need to take some time to get some work done, or do some personal things. So I'm gonna take today off and not see anyone. How about we hang out next week? Or how about we get together on the weekend? So you're putting up a boundary. You're saying, hey, like I need to take some time. I need to slow this down. But at the same time, I'm not just piecing out here. I do want to see you again. Okay? So that's a way that you can slow the relationship down, and it's a good way to tell if this is going to be a good partner for you. It's not a test, but how someone responds to you setting a boundary and slowing the relationship down will tell you a lot. Someone who is a healthy partner would say, all right, cool, no problem. Enjoy your time off. Someone who isn't going to be a healthy partner will try to guilt you into hanging out. They might minimize what you need to do. They might say like, oh, like why do you need to do that? Why do you need to hang out just by yourself? Like, hang out with me. You know, they'll kind of pressure you into not sticking to your boundaries. So that's really what I mean here, and that's how you would let someone know. And what I also want to make clear here is if someone is not responding well to your need to take some time out or slow things down, that's a good indication that they're not the right partner for you. All right, so I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this answered your question, Laurel. So you guys, if you have any additional questions, put them in the comments. I'm gonna just keep going here. Give me a heart or a like if this is helpful to you, if you guys are enjoying the Q&A here. Okay, let me pull up the next question here. Okay, so the next question is, I'm leaving my 11, and I think this person means 11-year toxic marriage in 3 days, but my heart is sad when it should be happy. I know this is the best thing for me, but a part of me wants to stay in hopes it will get better. Why am I feeling this way? So to the person that asked this question, thank you. This is an amazing question. So whenever you hear a should, or whenever you think a should, get rid of it. Throw it out. Nobody needs these shoulds in their lives. So when you hear a should, what you're actually hearing is conditioning, right? You're hearing what someone has told you should be feeling or thinking or doing. And here in this group, We are all about breaking out of conditioning. So we're going to throw away all of the shoulds. They're gone. How you feel is how you feel. That's all there is to it. Whatever you are feeling is appropriate and what you are supposed to be feeling, okay? There's no way that you should be feeling. So I want to make that very clear. There are no shoulds when it comes to healing and how you are supposed to feel, okay? Yes, leaving a toxic relationship can feel freeing. You can feel relief from it. Sometimes it can feel good, right? Because you're free. You're free of this relationship. But you can also feel grief. You can also feel sadness. You can also feel fear. And you can also feel anxiety. You can feel any emotion here. There's a whole spectrum of emotions that you can feel when you leave a toxic relationship. And so one of the reasons for this is that I'm sure that there were some good things in that relationship. Even if a relationship is overall toxic and just not good for you, there's always one or two things that were okay or that were good that kept you there so long. And so letting go of that is part of the process of letting go of the relationship. There is some grief that is involved in that process. So I want to make that clear, guys. There's always good things that are part of these toxic relationships because you wouldn't have gotten into them in the beginning if there weren't, right? So there are things to grieve once you let go of a relationship. And don't listen to any of the information out there that's telling you that you should be feeling happy, you should be feeling this, that, or the other. You feel how you feel. And if you feel grief, that's perfectly normal and it's appropriate. That's what you should be feeling. The relationship, and I'm saying should, I shouldn't say that even myself, but that's what you want to be feeling because that's part of the process of healing and releasing the relationship. So let's talk now about the hope, because you in your question you referenced the hope here. Why can't I let go of the hope? So hope is one of the most difficult things to let go of. I can tell you that from personal experience. Why? Why is hope so hard to let go of? Because what happens when you let go of hope? The hope that things will get better. When you stop hoping, you are faced with the reality of what that relationship was, of what you went through, of how bad it was, of how toxic that relationship was. And that can be incredibly painful. It can be really, really hard to face the painful reality of what this relationship was and what it wasn't, all the things that it was missing. All the mistreatment, all the lack of love, all of the betrayals, right? So of course a part of you doesn't want to give that up. Of course a part of you doesn't want to give up the hope that things will eventually get better. So how you move through this is you continue to listen to that. Some people call it the higher part of you. Some people call it the true self. It's like this little small voice inside of you that says, no, don't believe that. There is more for you out there. Things will get better, and they're going to get better when you leave this relationship, when you let this person go. Because that is the truth. It's not going to be a really loud voice. It's going to be a still small voice that tells you there is more out there for you if you let this person go. So all that being said, letting go does not happen in an instant, okay? It can, sometimes it does, but for most of us, it's a process. It's a process of slowly letting go of the hope, okay? We slowly accept the reality of what happened in this relationship, and we feel all of the emotions that come with that, okay? And what happens is when people go on a healing journey and they start to do this, they start to let go of the hope and they face the reality. Eventually they get to the point where they look back and they go, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much I tolerated. I can't believe that I allowed this level of mistreatment in my life. And that's because they have gone through that journey and they have let go of the hope, okay? So this is completely normal to be experiencing. And what I would recommend is to get support while you're going through this. Don't do this on your own. You know, whether it's support from a counselor, a therapist, a coach, a lot of women's shelters sometimes offer free counseling if you can't afford it financially. Just get some support while you're going through this process, because it's really hard. It's really tough, and nobody should be doing this on their own. Okay, so I hope this answers your question and hope this was helpful. All right, guys, how are we doing here? Is this helpful? Let me know. Let me just check the comments here. Oh, Cassie says yes. Okay, awesome. All right, I'm gonna keep it moving because we've got a lot more questions here. So the next question is, how do you get through the first few weeks of breakup after a toxic relationship when you're just not ready to block their number, etc.? Even though you know it's the right thing, but you just can't bring yourself to do it. Why do you feel like there is hope when realistically they have shown you nothing will change? So this is also a great question. And this kind of like piggybacks on the last question here. So just like I talked about in the last question, hope is the hardest thing to let go of, because when we let go of the hope, we start to grieve. We start to feel all of that pain. And so when we get to that place, where we're faced with the option of letting go, it can feel terrifying and it can feel impossible to let go, right? Because it can feel like we're going to fall into this endless pit of despair, this endless pit of grief, this endless pit of fear and anxiety. But it is not endless. I can promise you guys this. It's not endless. There is an end point to the pain. Okay? This will not last forever. I want to make that very clear. Do we have to go through it? Yes. Yes, we do. If we want to heal and we want to move forward, we have to go through it. Is it hard? Yes. Yes, it's incredibly hard. Is it worth it? Absolutely. It's absolutely worth it. Again, I can tell you from personal experience, it is absolutely worth it. Basically, as long as we're hanging on to what is no longer working, we don't leave any room for what could be great for us to come in. So if we're hanging on to the ex, if we're hanging on to hope, if we're really resisting going into that pain and feeling all that stuff, it doesn't leave room for your new reality to come in, the new amazing partner that could be out there for you. So, Cassie's saying here, yeah, letting go of an abusive person is very difficult and so painful. I had to remind myself almost every day that the pain would be temporary. Yeah, Cassie, you get it too. It's incredibly difficult to do, and that's why we hold on to hope, because we don't want to go through this process, right? We don't want to feel the pain. But it is worth it here. That's what I can tell you. So if it feels way too overwhelming to block someone straight up, to just block all levels of communication with them, what I sometimes advise people to do is do it in baby steps. Maybe the first thing that you do is you block them on Messenger, like on Facebook. You block them on Facebook. And then you sit with all of the emotions that come up from doing that. Then maybe you block them on the phone. You block them from text. And then you work your way up to email. And then eventually you get to the point where you can block them completely. So that is one way you can do it. But again, like I said to the previous questioner, don't do this alone. Get support here. It really makes all of the difference. There are a lot of modalities out there that can make this process faster. I know I talk about it all the time, but often when I work with my clients, we release just a few emotional energies and they are then able to completely block their partner and start that process of moving on. There are ways to make this a lot faster and easier. So all of that being said, there is help out there. This doesn't have to be so hard. If you're doing it on your own, it's going to be really hard. So try to get some support if you can, if it's possible. Okay, next question here is, I have been out of the abusive narc relationship over 6 months tried dating once. Will the sadness go away? So this is another great question. And it's like, I think a lot of the theme of today is leaving a toxic relationship and going through that pain. So, just like what I talked about in that last question, this pain is not endless. There is no emotional pain that is going to last forever. It's not possible. Emotions are energies, and they will eventually move through you if you let yourself feel them. So the pain is not endless, but your mind is going to convince you that it is. This is the story that the mind tells us when we're talking about pain. And I know this because I went through this. When I was feeling something painful, when an emotion was coming up, my mind would be like, oh my gosh, this is never going to end. I'm going to feel like this forever. And then like a couple days it passed. So I know sometimes some emotions will last longer than that, but my point in this example is don't believe the stories that your mind is telling you, that it's going to last forever, that's going to be endless. It's not. It won't. That's just what the mind does. It's like its little coping mechanism. I wouldn't even say it's a great coping mechanism, but this is what it does. So don't believe those stories. There are ways to make this process go faster. Like I talked about, some of the modalities that I use helps make this go faster. But yeah, no emotion is going to last forever. This will get better. So just like I tell everyone, get as much support as possible. The more support you can get, the faster you're going to get through all of this stuff. All right, you guys, we're keeping it moving here. So the next question is how to get rid of the fear that if you leave your narcissistic or abusive partner, you will never find anybody else ever in your life. I love this question because I think anyone who's been in a relationship like this fear, this thought has probably crossed their mind at least one or two times. So the way that I would tackle this is two ways. We can tackle this consciously and subconsciously. So we're gonna tackle this consciously here. Here's the deal. You are gonna find someone else. There are billions of people in this world, and there are millions of single people. All it takes is one. You can find one person out of millions of people to have a relationship with. So it's not true at all that you're never going to find anyone else. I absolutely know that it feels like that. That's like we talked about in the previous answer. Those are some of the stories that your mind tells you, but this is not the objective truth. This is not how it is. So now, that being said, subconsciously, if you've been with someone who's narcissistic, it's very easy to believe that this is true. Either they've flat out told you that, oh, you're never going to find anyone else who loves you as much as I do, or whatever they've said, no one will love you. They may have said that, or you may have come to believe that because of everything you've gone through with them, because they've just beaten you down and really destroyed your sense of self-love and self-worth. So the way I do this for my clients is by releasing the emotional energies that have been built up, like shame and heartache. These are one of the two most common ones that I'm releasing from people who have been in these types of relationships. There's a lot of shame and there's a lot of heartache. And once we release those, it makes it that much easier to believe what is actually true, which is, oh yeah, I'm going to find someone else. So what we also do is we rewire these subconscious beliefs so that you do feel good enough. And then when you go back out there to date, you know that you're going to find someone, and you're not dating from this place of like, oh my gosh, will I never find someone? No, you will. And then how you resolve this is you just go out there and you do it. You put yourself out there and you meet people and you see, oh yeah, there's people that are interested in me. I absolutely could find someone else. And that's what you do. It's like you kind of prove if your ex told you that you wouldn't find someone else, you kind of prove them wrong. If you have said that to yourself in the past, you prove yourself wrong. You go out there and you do it, and you see objectively what it's like to date and see what's out there. So if this feels too intimidating, or you want support because you're afraid of getting into another narcissistic relationship, comment Real Love and I will reach out to you, because this is part of what I do when I work with clients. Okay, let's keep it going. The next question is, I am in a new relationship that seems healthy so far. Yay! What should I watch for to know if he is actually not a healthy partner as the relationship progresses? So I love this question too. And really, it's as you're getting into a relationship and it's evolving, you really want to just keep your eye out for the same things that you would when you're dating. Just keep your eye out for any red flags that are starting to pop up, because sometimes people can show up really great in the beginning, but then over time, stuff happens and they're not able to keep that up. So that's what you want to keep looking out for. And also, keep in mind how someone responds to your boundaries. I talked about this in the beginning, but if they are respectful of your boundaries, they're understanding, indication that this could definitely be a healthy partner. If they're not respecting them, or they're kind of guilting you or making you feel bad about them, they may not be the right partner for you. So another thing to keep in mind moving forward is, how do they handle conflict? So conflict is not easy for anyone. And you know, the way you guys resolve conflict is an ongoing process as you learn how each other works. But if you are coming away from conflicts not feeling like you've been heard, or not feeling like you've come to an agreement or resolved something, that could be an indication that this isn't a healthy partner for you. Do they show a lot of anger or a lot of outbursts? That's something else to look out for. And how do they handle themselves in conflict? Can they keep their anger, what's the best word to say? Can they keep it under control? Do they let themselves feel it but not take it out on you? That's something else to pay attention to. And then the next thing is, are they staying available to you as time goes on? Are they staying consistent with you? Like I said, some people can do it really well in the beginning, but they can't keep it up long term. So if this person can keep it up long term, great. That's what we want to look for. That's a sign that this is a healthy partner for you. Okay. Whew. I went through all these questions really fast here. So I think I have addressed them all. Let me just go up here. If you guys have any other questions, put them in the comments here. And let me make sure. Okay. No, I think I got through them all. Awesome. Okay. So guys, let me know if this was helpful. If if you found the answers helpful to learn more about dating and how relationships work and how healing works. Because I really enjoy doing these. I'm probably going to do another one next month. I think I'm going to keep doing them every month on like the last Tuesday of every month, because yeah, it's a great opportunity to really answer your questions and get very clear on how healing works and what we want to look for to find a healthy relationship. So thank you everyone for watching. Have a great week, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.